Good morning, friends. I hope you guys are doing well this morning. I have a story to tell you, but I don't know if you're going to believe me or not. I want to tell you what I did this week. So this past week, I had a day off, and so on my day off, I decided to call up NASA and book myself a private rocket ship, and I went into outer space. I went to the moon, and I sat on the moon, and it was really fun. Do you believe that? Why don't you believe that? What could I do to convince you or make you believe that I had gone on a rocket ship to outer space? Maybe I could show you pictures or evidence of some sort. I could bring back moon rocks. You could have someone come in and confirm that worked at NASA or that saw me go, someone that knew something. Someone could confirm it. But me just telling you this very outlandish story doesn't seem like very much proof, does it? Okay, so what if I told you that this bag has markers in it? Would you believe me? Why? Why do you believe that this bag has markers in it? Oh, because you can see them. Okay. What if I told you that this bag has a mini plant inside of it? Not a planet, not like the ones I saw in outer space, but a plant. Would you believe it? Only maybe? Why only maybe? Because you can't see it. Well, what if I just tell you that I'm looking inside right now and I can see the plant? Maybe you believe me a little bit more now because I can actually see it? Why would you believe that there are markers in this bag, but only kind of believe that there's a plant in this bag? It's because you can see the markers. That makes sense. Just to confirm, there is a mini plant in this bag. But the reason you weren't sure if you should believe me is because of the fact that you couldn't see the plant, right? It was easy to see through this bag to see that it had markers in it. But the other bag isn't see-through. You couldn't see the plant. Do you think that seeing is always believing, or that believing is always seeing? Anytime you can see something, you can believe it. Or you can only believe things if you'd seen them. Maybe sometimes you do need to see things to believe it. But other times, maybe you don't need to see things. My going to space story was a little bit far-fetched. It wasn't very accurate. I have no pictures, I have no proof, I have no one to back up my story. We know how hard it is to get into outer space. My story is very far-fetched and not believable. But I have a story from the Bible that maybe the story seems a little far-fetched, but someone in this story wants to see things to believe things, and what Jesus had to say about that. Let's take a look. This story is called Doubting Thomas. The disciples were hiding in a house the night Jesus rose from the dead. They were afraid. Bam! They locked all the doors, and Jesus came in and stood beside them. "Peace be with you," he said. The disciples looked up in surprise. Jesus showed them his hands and his side so they would know it was him. The disciples were very happy. Again, Jesus said, "Peace be with you. God has sent me to you. Now it's your turn to go out to the rest of the world and tell them about me." Jesus breathed on them a very special way. He said, "With my breath, I will always be in your hearts. You now have the power to do the things that I have asked you to do." Thomas was the only disciple not there that night. When he got back, the others excitedly told him about Jesus' visit. "I don't believe you," Thomas said. "I'll believe it when I can touch and see Jesus' wounds." A week later, Thomas and the other disciples were in the same house, and Jesus came again and stood with them. "Peace be with you," he said. Thomas, Jesus commanded, "Come here, give me your hand. Put your fingers on the wounds in my hand. Put your hand by the wound in my side. Don't doubt anymore. It's time for you to believe." Thomas's eyes popped out. "My Lord, my God," he exclaimed. Jesus answered him, "You believe because I am here with you, and you've seen me. Think of those who have not seen me, but believe in me anyway. You should believe even when you cannot see it for yourself." Doubting Thomas didn't believe that Jesus was alive because he hadn't seen it for himself. The story did seem a little far-fetched, a little hard to believe. Sometimes it's hard to believe without seeing things. Unlike my outer space story, there's some more credible, believable ways to get information about Jesus, even in Thomas's example. He had friends who were telling him that yes, Jesus is alive. What are the credible and believable ways we find out about Jesus and about God? The Bible. The Bible is one great way. The Bible is filled with stories and letters and first-hand accounts and second-hand and third-hand accounts and stories that have been told through generations about God and about Jesus. We have these words that we can read and understand more about God and Jesus. Unlike my going to space story, I didn't have people writing about me or documenting my trip into outer space. I didn't have scientists seeing me go up in the rocket ship and land on the moon. I didn't have those things because my story wasn't true. But we have the Bible. We have these accounts of Jesus and God and the things that they have done. The Bible is a written account of stories people have heard about Jesus, information backed up by others, letters written about people and about Jesus. It's okay that Thomas had questions. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay for us to ask questions. But it's good to know that we have credible information and information readily available for us. It was easy to believe that this bag had markers in it. And it was a little bit harder to believe that this bag had a plant in it. We couldn't see it. But like Thomas, he had credible evidence, and like us, we can believe that the story of Jesus is true and the story of God is true because we have stories to refer back to. We can look around us and see the amazing things that God has created. We don't have to see everything to know that we can believe. Will you pray with me? Dear God, thank you for the Bible and your creation as a way to know you. Amen. I encourage you this week to go out and find more ways that make you not doubt just as much as Thomas did. We see goodness everywhere. We see God's beautiful creation everywhere. What are the signs that tell you that God is out there? I'll be excited to hear back from you. I'll see you guys soon.